to you today from the Southern Legend Outdoors Studio, the Be a Legend podcast, brought to you from SouthernLegendOutdoors.com. And now your hosts, Kevin Bearfield, Kerry Nelson, Ken Butler, and Mark Newell. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. It's your time now. Be a legend.
Welcome to the opening episode of Season 2 of the Southern Legend Outdoors Be a Legend podcast. We're here in Pontotoc, Mississippi tonight. Got Ken and Kerry with us. Guys, thank you for coming out for this opening episode of this Season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Really excited. We're kind of running late. I'll take the blame for that. I've had several guys and to call and say, hey, what's up? You guys not doing your podcast this season? And so I kind of take the blame for that. We've been in transition, and April and I have been moving, and both boys playing football, coaching two college teams, and holding down another job or two, and it's just been kind of wild years. So, guys, that's on me, my bad. But we are right in the thick of things right now, so we've got plenty to talk about. And thank y'all for coming out tonight. Actually, I came out. We came to Kerry's,
yeah.
And I think our picture for our podcast will say it all when we get that posted.
Yeah.
We had peach cobbler. Well, that was the highlight of the night. We had spaghetti, and
Salad.
but you gotta. It doesn't do it justice just to say we had peach cobbler. So let me turn it over to the cook now.
All right. Well, we had my sprouted bread. I took my sprouted bread and we put mozzarella cheese in it, baked that for breadsticks. So we had spaghetti and salad, and then we did our lodge pot, which our Dutch oven, and which is heated by charcoal on the lid and under it, and we made homemade peach cobbler. Now the ice cream, Bluebell gets all the credit for that.
No, well,
But
I could have done without it. It didn't make any difference. It was good anyway. You tried it.
And I'm being honest. I told you it was probably the best I'd ever had.
Oh yeah.
And I can't think of any better I've ever had. I will say
it
that
was good.
It was.
Yeah.
But now the Nana biscuit recipe that I use for my crust,
Yeah.
that helped it. And I also, some people put like a different kinds of material, wax type paper, down in a lodge pot when they're cooking to keep it from sticking to their pot.
Yeah.
What I did is made an extra layer of my biscuit crust, and I coated the bottom, so if it burned at all, it would just burn the bottom.
She wanted to stick.
So,
we just let her stick.
Just let it stick. But
Well, when he put it in my bowl, I mean, there were at least 4 biscuits in that bowl.
Oh yeah.
An equivalent of 4 biscuits, and
Yeah.
I said, "There's no way I'm going to eat all that."
yeah,
And I think I beat both of you
yeah.
finishing.
To
my
which
bowl.
I said, "Well, we got plenty, and there's only us here. So if you don't eat it, no big deal. Throw it away." And when I looked over and you had your head down in the bowl licking the side,
Yeah. I kind of asked if I could lick the bowl. So
Yeah, it was
Really
enough
good.
to feed a football team.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
but that's what we do: podcast and eat.
I mean, this thing was. I mean, how big is that pot?
It's a 14-inch.
14. We barely ate like one little corner out of it, like you could eat for 6 months.
20
out of this
people
thing.
can eat off of 14. But now the lodge, it's cast iron, and I love to cook with cast iron. I actually love to fry turkey
Oh yeah.
in the cast iron. But anyway, I have been wanting the Dutch oven's got the stands on it where you can slide the coals under it.
Yeah.
And whereas just a lodge pot, it's just flat bottom.
Yep.
Well, I have 2 large pots, but I never had on the Dutch oven. I was in Texas this summer in a meeting, Brother Josh Sparks was out there. Mm-hmm. And he's heard me say, I want Dutch oven. And the place we were at, the Suttons, James and Shonda Sutton, had took us to this place, and they had their Dutch ovens on sale. I was pushing a buggy and had Richard out there, and we was going through the store, and Josh come and set that 14-inch in my thing. He said, I'm going to buy that for my pastor. And the problem is he ain't ate nothing out of it yet. So he's probably, if he listens to this, well, Josh, I'm sorry, I'll make you your own.
Yeah.
So
great.
Yeah, you owe him one of those cobblers.
Yeah, I owe him.
Man, it was fine.
I'm gonna say the Dutch oven will be used.
Yes, it will, especially with the tramper.
And on, you might want to explain the tramper.
Oh
People
well,
don't know
that's my trailer.
It sounds worse than it really is. But
and especially
we actually could do a whole podcast on the tramper.
You could, and I had to make very clear to people that I wasn't taking a tramp in the tramper.
Right.
And Michelle made me make sure that you better not say that. And so we took a 14-foot trailer and turned it in the trailer that we travel our equipment and stuff in, and we
enclosed trailer.
Yeah. We use for equipment. We use it when we're hunting.
Yeah.
And so we put an air
conditioner
camper
on it.
air on top, put a breaker box in it, and so it's not a camper, and it's now not just a trailer. So we combined it. It's a tramper. And I have camped all over the place. Got a generator, and now I got my Dutch oven. Mm. And I will be on the Little Pigeon River in October in Gatlinburg. I'll send you pictures of the Dutch oven on the banks of the Little Pigeon.
Don't let that Dutch oven get away from you, because you know that's.
And speaking of this, not only did I get, convert a trailer to a camper, and we call it a tramper. So I'm sitting in Texas, and our friend here, Dr. Bearfield, pulls up beside me and sits down. And he's like, "Hey man, I got me a camper." "Oh yeah, you got some pictures of it?" Yeah, I got some pictures. So I thought I was looking at his new house. I didn't know I was looking at his camper. Congratulations, by the way. Yeah. That is, I don't know how you convinced April that you were going to duck hunt out of that, but I got a feeling that ain't a recreational family vehicle. It's going to be used for the duck hunting.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was the selling point, at least, to say that I was going to save money, because I don't have to rent a house now. When we go duck hunt, we just rent a cheap camper spot and put that money toward a camper. But I took her I took her to the beach in it weekend before last, I guess it was. And she swore up and down she'd never go camping in her life. She's a city girl,
Oh, I married her sister.
I
know.
Y'all know. We all are married into the same family. And so I took her to the beach, and she actually likes it. She thought it was, a pretty good move on my part. So I've kind of gone to being a hero in the deal now.
Oh, you win Convincer of the Year.
Yeah.
Because it's nice. Well, I took Michelle in a tent the first time. So the tramper looks like, a 5-star hotel compared to the tent. But
I look forward to camping together with you.
Oh, we will. And I have no shame. I will pull my 14-foot. You know me. I pull it up, and man, these guys come rolling in.
I didn't do it to show you up.
I'm not even saying that. Yeah. I'm saying that you win. You convinced April to buy. This is not no duck hunting camper. I understand it.
Well, that's what it was intended for.
Right, I understand that. But anyway, I'm sure there was some point you was like, if I'm going to duck hunt out of it, it's got to have a fireplace. Things got fire. it's got, Yeah. And but I pulled this tramper.
I got a really good deal. It wasn't really what I was looking for, but I got a really good deal.
It was thrown in his lap.
Yeah, it was thrown.
It's the kind of thing you just couldn't turn down.
So is it going to make it to the duck lease, or it's actually going to go?
That's why I bought it.
Okay. That's why I bought it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if y'all was just
where we
kidding
got
about
the
that.
duck lease, we've got a place to hook up a camper, and so I've got that spot. So I can just take it over there and leave it for the winter, and I got a place to stay now.
Well, when we go camping, I want to tell you, so you'll know. Mm-hmm. When I pull up they think that I'm coming to deliver something. There's nobody in the campground that thinks that I'm fixing to back into an actual spot.
But when that back folds down and you put the chairs out on it and your grill's going.
Here's the funny part. I was in Walmart one day, and I told Michelle, I said, hang on, I got to get a level. And she said, okay. So I went and bought this little bitty, I wish y'all could see it on the podcast. It's about 3 inches long, one of them little yellow ones that you can just stick, in a windowsill or something. And so I get out, I unhook the black trailer, 14-foot, enclosed trailer. I let it down, pull my truck out, let it down. I mean, you can look at the thing and see it's level. It ain't that big of a deal. But I got my scotches, I get my wheels, and then I bring out jacks, and I jack it up, and don't even jack it up. I just put them under, and everybody's watching. All these people with these multi-$1,000 vehicles, they're watching.
Oh, yeah.
Because they thought this guy's he's probably delivering supplies, and now he's plugging in, and he's hooking water up to this thing. And so I pull out of my pocket, and I can't help it. They don't know I'm looking around, but I'm catching their eyes. People's watching, and I pull that thing out. Hold that little old yellow level up, into the sun like it's solar powered or something. Set it on the tire wall, the fender of the tramper, and I step back and look at it, and I walk around, let it down a bit, come back, put that little level back in my pocket, walk over. They're thinking, what is this guy? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
And I'll camp right there all week with them.
Yeah, because
I give them tours. I've never asked them.
They want to come look at your
God is my witness. I wish Michelle was up. We were in Pigeon Forge camping, and 3 different people wanted to come. They couldn't stand it. They seen us sitting on the back. We let the back ramp down, level it out. That's my back porch.
Got you a patio.
Got a patio. So we're sitting there overlooking the river. Well, they're walking in front of it on the road through the campground. And so I told Michelle, I said, they keep looking. I'm going to tell them, y'all want to come take a tour? And it's 14 foot long. I mean, the tour's over pretty much when it stops. So this lady and this gentleman, they're walking by, and I'm like, you want to look inside, don't you? Do you mind? I said, no, but now you'll have to come into the side door. So they come in. Young couple from Georgia wanted to look at it. They had one of the nicest campers. It was a 5th wheel. Nicest campers in the campground. And she looks at him and says, we could have just done that. He's looking at me like, I ought to kill you. And we could have saved a lot of money and just done that. But it is, for me and Michelle, it's perfect. And for me, for me,
That's right.
I love that strange attention. And so I get it.
I love it.
I get it.
Oh, yeah.
I put her a little sink, hot water heater, so she can wash her face at night. I got a TV mounted, and I can watch all my sports. Right in the center, we put a little table and got my coffee pot. Got a little porta potty that she can use in the night, so
What
she don't
else
have
you
to go
need?
out. And we park by a shower house, and most all of your major campgrounds, their shower houses now are nice as a
Very
hotel room.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, matter of fact, the place we stay in Gatlinburg, it's a private. Every one is private. You can go in, lock yourself up. You got your shower. It's just
Everything.
like.
Yeah, the one we
So-
just stayed at the beach was really nice. So like that, I mean, you really don't even need to you don't have to use your own bathroom if you're,
Have you ever been to Cheehaw,
Cheehaw.
Alabama?
No.
Cheehaw State Park. It's the highest point in Alabama. It's right outside of Oxford, Alabama, past Talladega.
Okay.
You take the Delta Alabama exit. I don't know what number it is. And it's when you're going to the campground, you think you're in the Smoky Mountains. That's how high you're up and overlooking.
Really?
Yes. And it's Cheehaw National Park. Look it up. And it's just interesting because I go pulling through there. And again, when we got there, people are looking at you like,
Delivery man's here.
hey, guy with the paper goods is here. Then I went to Stone Mountain. And they have some of these places, they're a stop for these what would you call them? Where I mean, it's like a motorcycle gang, but it's a camper gang. You know, they call it. It's got a term. All of these driving. You know, not RVs. I'm talking about buses, motorhome, like a bus. They are lined up everywhere, and every one of them's got these flags. You know, they're in this group, and so guess who pulls right up in the middle of them and backs his tramper up? And they didn't offer me no flag or membership, but I was there with them the whole week. You know, so
well, I know this was, and we didn't plan this conversation, but. You've experienced this. Now, Ken, you got to get on board, so now you got to get a camper because, I mean, Kerry's got one, I got one, and so you and Buffy going to have to get a camper now.
Empty nest guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It could be like post Mary Kate living at home, something for y'all to go do.
Yeah.
But look, here's the funny thing about it. Like, I had never been around camping in my life. I really literally bought the thing so that I wouldn't have to rent a place and I'd have my own private place for the duck camp. And no offense to my duck camp buddies, I'm just saying where we were moving to, it was going to be shared with a large group of guys. So I just wanted to have my own place. But we thought, well, we've got a camper mouse. It's like a world I never knew existed.
Oh, it's all we ever did.
It blew my mind. So y'all, your dad,
because
your dad had
Beach
right?
Yeah, your dad had that motorhome.
We've had 40-foot Terry's. We've pulled campers.
I forgot
We've
about
had
your dad
three
having
different
that
motorhomes.
But have you ever stayed
like
in a 14-foot
I
tramper?
hadn't, but I want.
I'm gonna let you borrow.
I need to borrow.
That's like a world I didn't know existed.
Oh, it's
And
laid back,
people,
man.
Those people are they're a group. I mean, it's not an exclusive group, but they're a type of their own, and
the hospitality and the friendliness in a campground is what I grew. That's the world I grew up. That's why we've talked about racism on here, and we've talked about that. I didn't grow up in. People will say you grew up in the South, you grew up in the 70s and the 80s. You had to experience a lot of racism. No, I didn't. I didn't experience racism. I didn't dish it out, and I didn't see it. I grew up with people that of all different colors, of all different backgrounds, and everything. I grew up in the hospitality and friendship world like a campground.
Yeah.
Where you could just walk across the street and go right into your neighbor's house and eat supper with them. And at a campground, you walking around, people's grilling, and you laugh and say, "Man, what you grilling?" And they say, "Well, we grilling steaks tonight. You want one?" Well, yeah. And you just go over and eat with them. You don't have to tell them your last name.
Yeah, don't know anything about them.
Nobody, kids still riding their bicycles.
That's what I was about to go to.
You know,
we carry our bicycles, so April was like super paranoid about it. I was like, "Baby, I'm not that far ahead of her because I stayed in Texas this year, so I mean we're new to this." But I said, "Just let them go. You don't have to."
Oh yeah.
They check people in at the gate, and next thing I look around, the boys they're out there meeting other kids, and they're out there riding their bicycle. I'm thinking, this is what a vacation ought to be about.
Oh, it's laid back.
And
then the cook right there, man, ain't nothing
you don't
like
have
it.
the stress of having to get up, and if you're staying in a hotel, you feel like you got to get out and go do something. You go to the campground. We didn't even go to the beach that much.
We used to camp.
We just stayed.
Ole Miss games.
Oh yeah.
We camped for years. We camped. We went to away games. We went to Alabama and they stole everything we had. Went to Mississippi State and they threw eggs and bricks at the side of our camp.
Yeah.
We stood out on our front door.
I like the way this went.
With a gun to about 2:00 in the morning in Starkville one time. Nothing in Starkville. I'm saying that's just happened. We were it happened, but it about as bad as Alabama. But anyway, like I said, we went to ball.
So the
games.
moral of this is
Does your
camp,
dad-
but just not around a ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does your dad still have that motorhome?
No, we sold it 5 or 6 years ago. We had a 40-foot bus.
I remember
We had 3
Oh,
that one y'all had.
we had
was
big time with it,
extremely
man.
nice.
Yeah.
We
Well,
had a big time.
I went to the
Daddy-
SEC tournament one time and went got up in the bus, sat around
Daddy
there.
loved to take it, and he would always take it on Fridays and set it up. We'd all come on Saturdays and spend a night and leave Sunday and go to church. So anyway, it's he just got a little older and it just got a little tougher for him to set up, and we said we just get rid of it. So, but it was really nice.
Before I got mine, I called Brother Mark Thrift, who's a big camper. I called Brother Andy Russell, who's a big camper. Brother Andy told me, he said, it'll be the best purchase you ever made recreation-wise. He said, you'll make the best memories with your boys that you could ever imagine, more than you'll ever remember on a football field or a baseball field.
That's it.
He said, the moments you spend with them camping and taking them out, he said, they're memories you'll never forget. He said, that's a guarantee. And I believe it.
Oh, it is. That's my daddy died 3 years ago this summer with a camper in his yard. And my daddy had one arm. Y'all remember that? I mean, his right arm, he just could barely use it all.
Yeah.
My daddy would go fishing with a boat and get the boat loaded and unloaded and all that one. He'd go my mama, she camped when we was growing up, and then she stopped and just never went back. My daddy camped the rest, all those years by himself. He would meet family, like brothers or sisters or nieces, and they'd go to Enid and Grenada and places like that. My daddy and Corey, they went to Gatlinburg for a week.
Yeah, wow.
But my point is, he died with a camper in his yard, and then my brother and his son-in-law and daughter, Warren Chapman, they redone Daddy's camper.
Oh, wow.
And so they're using it. They bought the camper and then redone it.
Yeah.
And but man, those are, and we're talking about Be a Legend podcast and talking about stuff. We spent literally thousands of dollars and thousands of hours around the ball field with my first three children. And my girls will tell you right now, they made memories. They had a good time. I'm talking about, I got state championship rings in there in the drawer. But their best memories was times when we did little.
Yeah.
You know, when we just us, we went and fished, or we went and hunted, we went on a vacation. Those are their memories. And what you're saying is right. That campground, it's a different memory, than the run-of-the-mill type vacation. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we got to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
for duck season, because once duck season gets here, you'll probably park that thing, won't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do it. We'll get together.
And see, I got 4 grandkids
we're going
now.
to Kentucky too, so
That's right.
So we're going to do that up there together. But
We might have to podcast with Ken on the cell phone from
that's right.
the Kentucky lease.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really intend for this to be Promote a Camper episode, but
That's great.
It's been a great conversation.
Hey, Sherman RV put my air conditioning unit in. If you'd like to go by there, tell them I sent you. Maybe they'll give me a discount next time I build a tramper. All right.
Awesome. Well, we're in the football season, and I guess it's a little too late to make early season projections as far as win-loss, since we've already gotten into the season a couple of games, but thought we'd just kind of talk a little bit about where we are, at least with our 2 state schools and Ole Miss and State. Not a whole lot happening this weekend, but we'll go ahead and do our picks for this weekend as well. But what do you guys think about? We'll just go ahead and start out with Ole Miss, since we're all Ole Miss fans, where we sit in the mix right now.
Well, tough one at Memphis. Of course, we all knew if you didn't think that was going to be tough, you were, mistaken on that, like a lot of people were. But they just got to walk out of there with a loss. And then this past week, Arkansas, you didn't know it was really going to happen, but we were favored and we came out on top of that. And I thought we played really well. Defense is getting better, especially what we've seen over the last several years. I think our young quarterback, settling down a little bit. We started running the ball too. I think we have 250 rushing, 250 passing, somewhere around that range. So anyway, now
Do you think if we flip flop, we play Arkansas first week and Memphis the second week, we're sitting 2-0 right now?
Could.
I mean,
hard to tell.
We look like we learned some things from that first game, maybe offensively.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is probably the best team Memphis has ever had. I mean, they're talking about
They can run table.
Yeah, they're talking about not losing a ball game.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, it's not a bad loss for us. So, we just got to do it from here on out. And this game this week is not going to be easy.
No.
I mean, there's quarterbacks on this team, Southeast Louisiana, that's beat us before.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's
Do we get to 6 wins?
They
said we had to win. We had to win at least one of our first 2, so we've done that.
yeah.
I mean, Missouri and Vanderbilt, we're in that right now. I mean, with the scholarships, I know we're back in business and rebuilding. We're in the same conversations with an Arkansas, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss,
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Thank God none of us is in the same conversation with Tennessee. But we're in the same conversation, and and now, you look at that, and sure, you got 6 wins on you. You had 8 games you could possibly play in coming into the year. After watching Memphis, you thought you wouldn't win another game. At the first, I mean, you think we're not going. If we can't get to 40-something yards in the first half against Memphis, we're fixing. I don't care how good Memphis is; they're not going to go undefeated in the SEC schedule.
Yeah. No,
so they're good.
Yeah.
But that we've got to do more than 40-something yards in the first half.
And good's relative to who you play every week.
Right. That's exactly right. And that's why, you take teams like Texas. They play a Georgia in a bowl. They play a LSU one time during the year. And then they're talking about, hey, we're on the same level as you. Well, just come join us. And you'll find out that it's not your talent that would make you less than us, but it's having to play the same amount of talent every week to where you don't have that talent at the end of the year because you got injuries, and you've got people out of action. And that's what hurts SEC, beating up on each other every week.
Yeah.
So could we win 6 after that first game? I was nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Then after watching, I will tell you this, I thought this is what I thought. I thought our offense was a fluke at Memphis, and I thought our defense was a fluke. Just listen to me. Mm-hmm. I said, there ain't no way. I saw them boys play last year. They couldn't tackle themselves. And they are knocking heads and holding on third. If we got in third down in 742, you knew they was going to get 743.
Yeah.
So I thought, I think the offense is going to be better, and I think defense is going to be worse. Right the opposite, buddy. Them guys.
Defense seems to be legit.
So I want to apologize.
They gave up 3 offensive. I mean, if you take away the last touchdown, which the game was pretty much over at that point, we probably had third string guys in there,
or a prevent on.
And then they score the touchdown off the fumble. But outside of that, we hold Arkansas at 3 points. When's the last time our defense held an SEC team defensively to less than?
But Arkansas is pretty bad now.
Well, and right. Hey, and I agree.
Let's enjoy it. It's an SEC win,
The good Lord gave us Arkansas week 2.
And I agree with that. But here's what I'm finna say to you. I have to apologize because I said something last year during podcast about ain't got nothing to do with scheme. You either can or you can't. I'm gonna have to say there is something to do with scheme. Mm-hmm. Because they kept saying, we're not in the right place. We're not in the right place. And I'm thinking, you can't tackle. That's why, you get a new coordinator and same players and new scheme. And these guys are playing like,
they're in the right place.
Yeah, I'm just baffled by it.
Yeah.
And
coaches
so
make a difference.
I was surprised our offense was so bad in the first game. I was surprised our defense was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Our offense has stepped up. Our defense is better than I ever imagined. So here's my point. If our defense does not get, we lost our start linebacker this week for 10 weeks. We cannot have that every week. Your star player. You stay healthy for 6 winnable games, we can win those games.
Yeah.
So
defense wins games. I mean,
you did a solid performance this week.
Yeah.
You got to have that.
Right.
And then California's coming in. And, that they were underdogs last week to
Yeah.
Whoever, Washington.
Yeah.
I believe it was Washington. They beat Washington.
Yeah.
Washington has a Georgia quarterback,
Yes,
right?
yes,
The transfer, Easton
yes,
kid.
Easton. So that so 1 week at a time, but we got to win this week.
All right, here's the thing. Here's the thing. After last week's game, and if you can win these next two, you definitely are looking at a bowl. You know what I mean? I mean, you're staring one.
Yeah,
you lose one of these next 2 weeks,
It's tough.
and
It's tough.
and you're a 4-win, 5-win
that's-
team.
you're exactly
And I don't know that we've got it. I don't know personally our tutor situation to know if we'll be able to make an academic bowl.
Yeah.
APR.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
know.
because you got anyway. That's for all my
Defense.
state fans there.
Defense, and then we've seen it all too often. Quarterback play. I mean, if Corral produces,
He keeps growing
We'll
up
win.
a little bit.
hey, by the way, talking about a quarterback, did you guys happen to see on Facebook Arch Manning?
Oh yeah,
His performance the other night.
Pretty good.
His opening performance as a freshman,
yeah.
I believe he was like 24 for 30
He
something.
threw like 4 touchdowns, same guy,
He was
right?
I think
phenomenal.
so. We need
I
to
wa-
pick
I
up a
watched they had
receiver, too.
They had a play-by-play of this kid. Like on Facebook, you watch every play he played, and I mean he's a man.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, he's.
I mean, it's genetic.
You know, he's been worked with.
Oh yeah,
That's,
With the
that's
best.
Cooper's boy, right?
That's Cooper's boy. Yep, he's playing at Neiman.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was same high school Eli
Same,
played.
and
Same
Peyton.
one. And
Yep,
Peyton.
And Cooper.
Peyton. Yeah,
And if some reason or another Cooper might tune into the podcast.
Sure.
Tennessee is horrible, so don't listen. Don't listen to Peyton.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
And,
we'll go on ahead and talk about Tennessee then. Here's the funny thing about them. If they lose this week, he's got to be gone, man.
He is.
Oh my goodness.
Do you know why? Because they play Chattanooga. Chattanooga.
Surely.
Surely.
Ain't no
But
Shirley, Georgia,
Georgia,
something.
Georgia State.
I know, but that Dan Ellington was quarterback.
But-
ICC
But you
for
teach
Georgia State.
Really?
Yeah, he finished at ICC.
Okay.
He didn't get offers from.
Oh, you
none
know
of the
he's
guys
loving
around
that.
here. He goes to Georgia State. He's setting records
Beating Tennessee at
and
Tennessee.
won this past week. Another big win for him.
But what about all those? What they call, Kevin? I ain't up on the technology, but like some people, but these kids send, is it memes?
Memes.
Memes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess Mimi, that's Michelle. She's a grandmother. Memes. You seen them all after Tennessee lost Georgia State? All them, they just had these little clips of people strutting and people coming in and rolling up, collecting that $1 million. You know, we paid you $1 million to come beat us.
Yeah.
And I thought, man.
Well, there's not even a line on Tennessee Chattanooga. It's over and under 51.5. So
Oh my gosh.
anyway, that's Tennessee better win that one. Pruitt better win it.
Yeah, it's a have to win
Yeah.
to keep your job.
Yeah.
And you really have only been there a season. I mean, this is the start of the second season.
I feel bad for the guy. I kind of watched more of the second game. I didn't watch any of the first game much, except just bits and pieces that were on the highlights. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the guy's got to execute out there. I don't think he called that terrible of a game. He's coming
Yeah.
into a program that's,
Yeah.
undergone so much transition. And, the Tennessee fans will tell you that all this started with, what's his name? Coach was Saban. Help me out.
Oh,
Kiffin.
Kiffin.
Yeah, Kiffin.
Yeah.
They said that they're still under the curse of Kiffin.
Yeah. When you get
That's
you get a wrong coach, you can set a program back years.
All right,
It takes a while.
they get, first week we get beat by Memphis. They get beat by Georgia State. Well, I'm in Virginia. So 13 hours from where we're sitting. So we drove it going up there. Well, coming home, I was like, we're going to stop halfway, somewhere. So I chose Knoxville. I never have, of all the year, we camped in Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge all my life. We just bypassed Knoxville.
You can drive right
I've
by
never,
the stadium.
but I've never done it.
Okay.
Never done it. All right. I went downtown Knoxville, ate close to the stadium. I seen 2 people with orange on. They got us by witness. This is
102,000, 106,000 people stadium.
this
Saw
is the
2 people.
Tuesday night after
Yeah.
the loss. people are everywhere eating at all these little restaurants and stuff. And we went to a burger joint that's supposed to be, one of the best. And two people had Tennessee stuff on.
That's
and I
funny,
thought,
man.
in a college town, they're not wearing the colors.
Boy, that program's come a long way in the wrong direction since Peyton Manning and T. Martin. Well, Georgia goes to Arkansas State. That won't be much of a game. Pretty much, I think everybody here is in agreement. Georgia wins that one. And Alabama at South Carolina could be interesting in the first quarter, but I figure, Ken, you got family over there.
Yeah, I mean, Bentley gets hurt, and now this past week they said he's going to be out for the year. He's got to have surgery on his foot. They're starting quarterback. So this gunslinger, this freshman that's supposed to be really good, comes in. Of course, they played Charleston Southern, which everybody needs to play at Charleston Southern at least once. But it just kicked them off. But what better way to get your spirits back going, your confidence back going before you had to play Alabama? So they beat up on Charleston Southern. So Charleston Southern's the same place where Pontotoc basketball player Ty Jones signed. Okay, so he plays basketball there. So I speak with him on Twitter every once in a while, but that program's not a good football program. I mean, you could tell, but hey, they needed confidence back. But look, it's kind of like Ole Miss playing Alabama this week or South Carolina. There's not going to be much difference.
Yeah,
I mean, we're going to have the same result most of the time. It's hard to compete.
Right.
So I like you said, a good quarter, but now you never know about this freshman quarterback. They have no fear. Yeah, this guy's gonna have no fear. He'll
nothing to
sling
lose.
it. Yeah,
He'll just go in.
They'll sling it, and that's how I would take it going in. I wouldn't hold back, but
Alabama's just
it's gonna be
good.
It's gonna be tough on them. So
Arkansas goes to Colorado, Arkansas's at home against Colorado State.
Yeah,
that might be a decent game.
Yeah, SEC Network.
Auburn's got Kent State. They'll handle them easily. Florida and Kentucky could be an interesting game. Kentucky beat Florida at Florida last year. So now this game goes back to Kentucky. You got to think Kentucky
lost a lot of talent last year.
Yeah, they did.
And the quarterback went down.
Benny Snell's gone.
Yeah, but their quarterback.
He got hurt. He's hurt. He's out. So they're going with their number 2 guy. So it's going to be tough.
Florida's ranked number 9. We know probably talent for talent, they're a better team. But, hey, Dan Mullen's coaching, anything can happen.
You got that right.
So, as I normally do.
I'm going to say.
As I normally do.
I'm just going to say.
I'm picking Kentucky.
Go Big Blue, baby. Go Big Blue.
Kentucky.
You got that look again this year that you had
all year long.
Hey,
I don't care.
Mississippi State fans don't want Dan Mullen to win nothing.
Charleston Southern or whatever he is talking about. Well, I'm going with them. I can't stand that joke.
I hate game.
Hey, Mississippi State fans can't stand Dan Mullen.
Yeah, I'm with them. I'm still with them. I told them.
So,
Texas A&M playing Lamar. Does that even deserve mentioning? I don't even.
Around here, it's just a street.
And Texas A&M is ranked 16th. LSU, Northwestern State, they'll handle them. Missouri playing Southeast Missouri State. That should be an easy win for them. And then I guess we can wrap up with State at State's at home.
Yeah.
Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll probably win that game pretty easily.
If Hill keeps running the ball like he's running the ball, they're gonna win a bunch of games because that kid is running. I mean, if they can keep that up, and but now their quarterback's day to day, something happened to him. He got hurt upper body is what they keep saying.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he got
Stevens,
a rib, shoulder.
Thompson's back on the team.
Yeah.
He put in transfer portal, and somehow you get out of the portal. I don't know what exactly you do to get out of the transfer portal, but he got out of the portal and came back to State.
They better hope they didn't let him sleep on some coach's couch.
Yeah. They're saying Schrader is their number 2 guy. If Stevens can't go, Thompson's not even number 2. So, but, Kansas State is rushing for 200 yards a game. State's around 200, 205. Kansas State, that's passing yards. Rushing yards, Kansas State is rushing their first 2 games 347 yards per game.
Wow.
State's 235. So that's a lot of yards on the ground. So Kansas State scoring 50 points a game right now, and Mississippi State scoring about 38. So we'll see how that goes. I don't really know how good Southern Mississippi is. You know, Jack Abraham, Oxford quarterback, was the starter in that game. So for Southern Miss.
What was that, 30-something to 15?
Yeah, 38-15, 35-15.
I think it was pretty lopsided the whole game.
Kansas State's defense is supposed to be a little bit better. They're giving up.
Well, it was a close game last year at Kansas State.
Yeah, pretty decent close. State kind of toward the end of the game started, but Mississippi State is giving up 250 yards in the air, and Kansas State's only giving up 100 yards a game in the air. The first two. So anyway,
What is Kansas State's mascot?
Is it the? I want to say it's some kind of line or something in it.
Yeah, Go Lions.
I think that's what it is. Something like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but anyway, it's something looks like a line.
Well, being that their coach came from Penn State, we'll say Go Nittany Lions.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So,
Well, the schedule should start looking a little more interesting next week.
There's
We're
not
gonna
many
start
good
getting
games
into,
this week.
into some deeper SEC play. And
hey,
should-
before you leave SEC play, when he was at Ole Miss, he set our program back. Ed Orgeron. Oh my goodness, let's don't even talk about that. But
you got to give him credit.
the call, I say this all the time. I've said it to if my boys are in here, they tell you. Late in the game, you got the lead. One more first down puts it away. You run 3 plays up the middle and punt it back. And how many times has that bit you and you got beat? And I've always said, my goodness, put the game away. Mm-hmm. Put the game away. Mm-hmm. But coaches freeze up on every level. Mm-hmm. They freeze up. And he come out, man, and got that first down. It turned in to being a touchdown.
Sure.
You know, to put Texas away. But what they said that he said, I didn't hear it, but I read it, that he said the reason that he did that, he said, because we couldn't have stopped him. Yeah. I mean, he knew his defense wasn't stopping them. Yeah. So he took his chance with what was working.
Yeah.
And how many times had he got that 4th down in the Egg Bowl before we fired him, he'd probably still be at Ole Miss. But anyway, but still, you know, to take that risk, putting the ball in the air like that, and what happened, it turned in.
He's
so tip your hat to him.
He's been on the wrong end of a lot of jokes as far as coming from Ole Miss people because of his coaching stint at Ole Miss. But his season at LSU is not over yet, so he could fall off the map this year. You never know what can happen. He gets beat Alabama. You know, things can go downhill in a hurry. But as to now, there ain't a lot of Ole Miss folks making jokes about Ed Orgeron anymore. The program he's building at LSU, because he had to build that program back, even though they have the players that they want. They've always liked the quarterback.
This guy took over in the middle of the season as an interim coach and turned the program around in the middle of the season. I mean, he basically proved that Les Miles. He basically proved what we all said. He can't coach.
Yeah,
and there's no telling how much talent they had down there during all that time with Les Miles.
Unbelievable.
And they were just, you know, I think Les is a nice guy, but, I mean, we saw it at Ole Miss. How many times did we beat them from poor coaching, poor clock management,
man.
Clock management was a major issue for him. I still go back to that game. We beat him at our place, and he looks over at the security guard like the highway patrol guy, and he says, and he asked him, he's like, what just happened? You know, well, that's bad when the head coach looks at at his usher, his highway patrolman says, what just happened? Yeah, you just got beat. That's what just happened. But you're right, Ken. I think Orgeron's a great fit there. I mean, he just fits.
Perfect.
No one can understand what he's saying.
He's from there.
He's a Cajun.
He don't want anybody to understand.
Nobody knows what
the
he's
right
saying.
people can't understand.
That's right.
We can't really.
His just whole his personality, his temperament, and all, it just fits LSU.
But every weekend besides this one is going to be a lot better matchups.
Yeah.
Besides this weekend.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a lot to talk about in football, but man, let's get to some hunting, man.
Yeah, I was going to say we got about 15 minutes left, but
it's about here.
Yeah, it's almost here, and I know you guys have got a head start on me this year. I come in tonight, y'all already looking at your deer pictures. I have to admit, it's just been rough. I ain't got my cameras out. I'm planning to start my food plots this week. Y'all are both ahead of me. But
We don't get any rain.
yeah,
It's going to be a while.
well, I'm just gonna cut my dirt, get them
Yeah.
ready,
Yeah.
get my ground broke up.
Yep.
Kinda
I'm
watch
bush
it. I mean,
hogging.
it looks like some rain, maybe the end of next week. There's
We had
chance
a
for
big rain
tropical
today.
storm.
You know, just a
Well, we got a
odd
rain
deal.
yesterday.
Yeah, here we didn't get in.
Yeah.
I got in town. We got some we didn't get in at my farm, and just been doing odds and ends. From, of course, we've been round up in our plots all summer. They've burnt. Kerry saw some pictures of them, and it just helps when you go to cutting up. You don't have to bush hog. Some of them you might want to bush hog a little bit, but
Yeah,
it just makes a ton of difference. We talked about this last year about this time.
yeah.
But it's about time to get your seed in the ground, and if we can get a little moisture and get it up, because I like that. Of course, we do some bow hunting on our place. I don't know how much y'all do. I know Kerry don't.
Yeah.
This year, I think you having some bow
I got
hunters
bow
come
hunters
in.
coming in.
So I've always found that you can have a cornfield planted and bean field, and that's great. But they always want a little bit of that. Howard Carnes taught me that. He said they always want a little bit of green grass to eat. So I like a little bit of green coming up, enough for them to forage on
Yeah,
during bow season. So I mean, you think in 3 weeks you get it in the ground. We're looking at a chance of rain next week. Monday or Tuesday through Thursday. So if our buddy and Tecumani biologist, and if he'd get us some seed.
Come on, Brother Mark.
I know, Brother Mark, where's your seed? But anyway, he's got some really good stuff this time, and I think we had talked about what we're going to plant.
All right, now there we are.
Okay.
All right, at supper I was going to ask Ken a question, but Kevin got on to us last year because we was having great conversations off the air, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Man, we got to save this. Let's don't talk about it until we get on air." So I was going to ask you, share with us what tell us about this canola.
Yeah.
And here's something everybody always asks. Always. How much to an acre? That's a common question. So when you plant yours, because you do have some small plots, no doubt, but you have some really big plots.
Yeah.
I mean, so you need to be precise, or you could spend extra $100-$300 unnecessarily if you're not precise on your
Right.
big stuff.
Sure.
So that's why I'm asking you, tell us.
Here's what I've done in the past. I've always tried to grow my corn, grow beans, and have them in maybe 1 or 2 locations in the center of the property, and then had some green fields. But being me, cheap Ken, I'd always go cheap on my mix. Just a plain old mix, $14 a bag, $12.99 a bag, wherever you want to go get it. And it just didn't have the goods in it. And I guess being around Mark, and you being around Mark and us, he's a Tecumani guy, and he, watching his shows and look at these lush food plots. Well, it's Kansas and it's Georgia and this Illinois plots, and it's just a different world. Those places, we're right here in Mississippi, but they still need nutrition from our green fields.
yeah.
So I got with Mark and said, what I need to do. I know you haven't been on my place, but what do you need to plant? What I need to plant? And he says, plant trophy grazer forage oats. Okay. He said it's 2 generations ahead of the old buck forage oats we all used to hear about. I don't think it gets as tall, as it's more tender for the deer. And so it's a really good, I think it's quality green for the deer, and they're gonna get a lot out of it. So, but anyway, he said add canola craze, and I said canola craze. I mean, I'm like, what in the world is canola craze? I've never had canola oil. Yeah, I asked him what canola. He said, yeah, the seed you make canola oil. And so what canola is a brassica. It comes up. You've seen Nebraska's on TV. You may have planted some in the past. But the deal on Nebraska's is on the standard Nebraska's, it takes a freeze or a good hard frost before the deer start eating it. It turns it to a sugar, and then the deer start eating it. Well, when do we have a frost in Mississippi? It's later on. It could be into November.
Yeah.
Right.
So this canola Nebraska comes up. When it comes out of the ground, it's sweet. As far now, I could be saying this. No, Mark can correct us because he's the biologist. We're not. He's the sales guy for Tecumani, so he decides what goes in the bags. So, but what I got from him is when it comes out of the ground, they start eating it. They don't have to wait for a frost. So he said you can put this canola craze and you can add some red clover with this Trophy Grazer Oats if you want to add some. So I'm just going to do the Trophy Grazer Oats. It comes in a 50-pound bag.
What does it run a bag?
I'm not sure. I think I saw around $34 a bag, 50 pounds.
And a bag go what? Will cover an acre?
Acre. I like to put it. I'll put it a little bit thicker sometimes, but about an acre. But he said add about 8 pounds of the red clover, okay, and about 2 to 3 pounds of the canola per acre. So the canola, you get it in 5-pound little jugs. So I'll put out the oats, and then I'll come back and I'll distribute it on top, the canola, and then I always harrow everything in on mine. Even if we don't get any rain, I'll still have a stand coming up.
Right.
And if you don't harrow yours in, just put it on top. Yours will just sit there because it finds the moisture at the end of every day. That moisture rises and it finds it in that dirt. So that's what I do. So he said 2 or 3 pounds of canola per acre to 100 pounds of our oats per acre. So 200 pounds of the Trophy Grazer Oats per acre. 100 pounds of Trophy Grazer Oats per acre. So 2 bags, 2 50-pound bags per acre. I guess that's the mixture he's wanting.
Huh.
So 2-3 pounds of the canola per 100 pounds of the oats per acre. So he said that's what a lot of people are doing, and you're gonna get your deer some high quality stuff. So that's what I'm and not just deer, everything you have on your place, turkeys and everything else, they'll forage on it also.
Well, you got to think with what we're undergoing here in North Mississippi with the ban on the feeders. The prime food plots are going to be what's going to draw the deer in.
All the grains, yeah.
They're not going to have. They're not going to have those corn unless you're growing it like you're doing. But you're not going to have those corn feeders
right
out there drawing them like. We know there'll be some out there, but hopefully they're not going to be in the masses like they've been.
And it's critical. Planting time is critical because here you go. You don't have your corn feeders.
Right.
Okay. And if you put your seed out, there's no moisture. You can't. There's nothing in sight. Everybody. I used to plant September 1st, first week of September.
Yeah.
Now, we hardly never get any moisture, so it's usually middle of September. Mm-hmm. But if your plot don't make it and you go cheap on your seed, don't have the coatings like Tecumani's got.
Yeah.
You don't have all the stuff in there that helps it survive during the drought, that the seed sits there and then finally gets some moisture and it comes on up. If you go cheap on it, you might not have a plot. If you don't have a plot and germination's gone, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people and like I'm wanting to go ahead and get this seed balled and put it in my shop. So when I see a rain coming, I'm liable to be 2 o'clock in the morning getting finished before rain.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're needing to go ahead and get the seed picked up and put it in, get ready for this next week or the next week, and because you got to play the moisture game, and so it's this time of year is critical.
Kerry, y'all started to work on yours?
We have. We only have a few big places, and we got those ready to be disc.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm bush hogging. This week, I bush hog, I don't know, 10 or 12 plots already this week. we probably got 15 more to get bush hog.
Oh yeah.
And but I'm preaching in Kentucky next week, so I won't be able to do any work till I get home Friday. And then I've got Friday and Saturday, and I got a meeting in Boonville, Arkansas, and then I go to Gatlinburg the end of the week, come back for a meeting. So I'm just like what Ken said, you're going to be, it might be the perfect time to plant, and I may be in Kentucky.
You're going to have a lot
So-
of time, free time.
Oh, yeah, a lot
I
of
tell you what I did for the first time this year. I put out liquid fertilizer on my, and you can do it. You can mix it with your Roundup. When you round up your plots,
Oh,
mix
really?
your liquid fertilizer with it. And you can fertilize your plots prior to cutting them up. When you're cutting them up, it puts it up under.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, that's Mark. Yeah, I check them on it. I've already got all this liquid fertilizer. So all my plots, my
So wait a minute,
clover,
back up.
I've done everything with liquid fertilizer this time.
So when we spray, go ahead and mix it in.
Mix it in.
You got the ratio to
I
that?
got the ratio.
All right,
I can help
okay,
you
man,
out
I'm
on
gonna do
that.
next year.
So when you spray your plots, like we've been spraying them all summer,
Yep.
this last time we sprayed, we put liquid fertilizer, and this liquid is called. I'll get what it's called here in just a minute, but
But
it's
you
really
mi-
good.
But you mixed it with your Roundup.
Oh yeah, yeah, and Mark told me what to do. I mean, he says, I mix it with the Roundup when I burn my plots down, and then when the plots come up, you see a pretty good stand. You hit them
Yeah.
again about November, December,
Yeah.
with this liquid fertilizer, and it just is some really good stuff. So, but yeah, hopefully we're gonna have good luck.
That makes sense.
And
You're
it's a
cutting
third-
the Roundup, and you're getting it in the
Yeah, it's a third of the cost of like triple 13 or
yeah.
so much cheaper. We're gonna see what it does.
Yeah,
We're excited about that. It's so much easier,
sure.
So
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if you mix it in with your Roundup. You're killing two birds with one stone.
like this afternoon, I put a culvert in, had 4 loads of clay brought in. I spread 2 on top of the culvert and got all that done. And we cut up 3 of the plots
Yeah,
today, and it just makes it so much easier when everything's burned down and don't have all that grass and bush hog and everything. And so we're gonna try to have the rest of them hopefully cut up tomorrow. I had a bearing go down on my, something always happens to our equipment. Had a bearing go out on my disc today, so I had to tear it down and get that bearing off. Take it in the morning, get it fixed, put it back on, and so anyway, we got some pretty good pictures this time at our place. It looks like it's trying to pay off what we've been trying to do, what we've been building for.
yeah.
8 point or better over these years, so we've acquired some more land, and so it's been a good deal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Richard Chisholm and Brother Chad Chisholm. They go to Locust Grove Baptist Church. Brother Doug Horton is the pastor. Brother Richard been battling cancer, and he got done with his treatments, and they're loggers, and so he's been in the house, going through all this radiation and chemo. So he got out of the house, and him getting out of the house to do something, he brought and helped me fix up some of my property, and with dozer work,
Yeah.
and some of my house projects, and so
Preachers get all the perks, you know it.
well, I didn't. He asked me. He asked me what we needed,
That's a cool deal right there.
and when you said new property, that's
Yeah.
why. Because we leased some new property last year and never got to hunt it
Yeah.
because you couldn't get on it.
I
Because
remember you telling me
there
that.
was, I took a 4-wheeler on there one day, and I had to get off the 4-wheeler and walk the crevices
Oh, yeah.
and hope that me and the
Yeah.
4-wheeler didn't fall off down in the hole.
Yeah,
But it had
I've
washed
seen
so bad, and it's straight down the rain. Oh man, he fixed that road with berms and cutouts, for the water and all that, and it just we're excited about that property because we didn't get to hunt it last year, and it's like you can't go nowhere without wild game tracks, from turkey, deer, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So we're excited about that new property.
Be an interesting year. Be a different year for us hunting this year. Maybe next week we can do a little more of an update on the CWD. But
I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah, I know that's what we were talking about earlier tonight. It's not been a lot said, but I'll try to pull up some information.
And if
next
anybody's
week
heard something that's listen to this, let us know.
Let
us know.
Come
man.
join us on the podcast.
Come join us on the
Tell us.
podcast. Or,
But here we are, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
To open
Yeah, I know.
bow season, and really nothing's been said since end of season last year. So
So you go opening morning and kill a deer. Do they want you to check it? Who knows?
they still want us to send our samples?
Samples
in?
off. They haven't said nothing.
So I really don't know are they going to have the same check station? The stations, around our area. Air Crew had one. There was one at right down the road from us on 41. So, we're glad to do it.
And we did it.
And we did.
Man, I did it all year.
Yeah.
Made extra trips just to do it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
But, as hunters, and especially for you, you've got different properties here and there, and you're taking people. You got hunters coming in every week. You need to know, and you got to be prepared for that because it takes effort.
Oh, it does.
To do all that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, hopefully before next time we
may have a little more information.
we can
next
look
week.
and see.
Bring
And
that
another
up.
thing I want to mention, remember, I told you that it's going to be up to you guys, but I've got that lift that I'm donating
Oh, yeah.
to a wounded veteran that you take or disabled. We will install it in the truck. It's a crane lift. It lifts chairs up. You can put a gambrel on it, and you can lift a deer and put it in the back of your truck.
Yep.
So
I remember you telling that.
So anyway,
That might be something we might come do a little video of it for you to put out there.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So it may be I don't know how y'all want to do it. If you got somebody already in mind you think would benefit from it, however y'all want to do it.
Well, I am having my, we take disabled, and talking about hunting, opening the seasons later. Thanksgiving ain't till November 28th.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm not mistaken, y'all can correct me now. Adult season always comes in the week before Thanksgiving. You got 2 weeks a kid, and then the adult. Y'all look that up, but I'm thinking that the opening weekend is not till the 24th, something like that, 23rd. I'm about 100% sure. I'm right on that.
Yeah, you got to be.
And because Thanksgiving's the 28th, and typically it always come in the weekend before Thanksgiving. Gun season for adults.
Yeah.
Because you have those, you're gonna have the weekend of the 8th or the weekend of the 9th, kids open. They always have 2 weeks in deer and 1 weekend.
Youth season.
It's through the 22nd, and look. There's your opening day right there, gun with dogs. That's your opening.
November 23rd.
23rd.
You have the youth
You got
season.
a primitive. You're right.
Yeah, primitive weapon October 1st through November 22nd
Is archery.
And then you got youth season 15 and under November 9th through the 22nd. And then antlerless primitive weapon would be doe only November 11th through the 22nd. And then you have
your opening day.
Opening day is
23rd.
November 23rd this year.
And on that 23rd, let me tell you this while we're talking. That 22nd is a Friday, and all of my people will come in. Okay?
Okay.
All right, and we'll have people all over the state of Mississippi coming in to hunt. So we take them opening day
On Saturday.
on that Saturday. So it may be something we might can incorporate your lift giveaway
Right.
that
That'd be good.
weekend
Yeah.
while we're having disabled weekend hunting,
That'd be perfect.
you know.
And I'll
and,
just figure out what we need to do on that.
Okay.
But I've got it set aside.
That's awesome.
So I'll be able to help somebody out, hopefully.
We want everybody to tune in next week because I want Kerry to tell us a little bit more about what he's doing, how he's transitioning. We've been working on some things for him and kind of changing up what he's going to be doing this year as far as his video. He's going to be doing more of a video cast, and so we wasn't really prepared tonight, but next week
Yeah,
I'd like
we will.
for us to go over that and talk a little bit about that and promote that because that's certainly a great.
and that'd be
thing that
good
you've
because
got
we're going to
going
launch
and-
it that next week.
Yeah,
So
we can
that'd be great.
talk a little bit about that next week. But well, guys, it's been fun. It's been a enjoy the evening with you guys and spending time together and kind of kicking off this opening episode. And look forward to this year. Should be a fun year hunting and eating.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to more good food from the Dutch.
Sushi night.
Yeah.
Far away.
I'm out on that. I'm out on the
But
sushi.
I'll have to Dutch him something.
Hibachi and I can do.
Well, I'll do hibachi and
you'll,
sushi.
You'll do that hibachi. I'll be
Yeah.
fine. All right, guys. Look
All right,
forward
enjoy
to
it.
Enjoy it.
Next episode. Good night.
Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. It's your time now. Be a legend.